What's up, everyone? Welcome to the No Cap Space. I'm Tyler, joined by Andrew and Greer. I don't know if y'all have heard some news drop today in the world of women's basketball. If you don't know if you've heard of her, Caitlin Clark. She's been in the headlines a little bit recently, here and there. Made an announcement today on social media that she will be declaring for the WNBA draft. And there's something first that we just got to start with because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of hearing about it. People are dumb. Let's not be dumb. Let's educate. Let's talk. Caitlin Clark is not losing any money going to
Darren Rovell.
That is not how this works. Name, image, and likeness does not get Avengers Endgame dusted whenever you leave college. That's not how this works at all. At all. I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of it.
Yeah, now they're just going to be able to be called endorsements like what every other pro athlete has. And I think Caitlin, by announcing right now, like she's getting the jump on, I mean, she was already the number one pick on mostly every mock draft that you can find out there, but she's definitely getting the jump on a lot of kids who haven't announced whether or not they're going, and also like on any brand that she isn't currently involved with. She's letting them know I'm open for business.
Yeah,
and
let's talk. Let's talk.
Call my management.
Yeah, right. I mean,
I'm surprised that Darren Rovell found his way out of Pat Fitzgerald's basement to even tweet about this. But in addition to the fact that the money doesn't stop, this is a person that's bringing an entire state's audience with her to the WNBA.
Oh, yeah.
I don't foresee a lot of Iowa fans saying, well, Caitlin's gone. I'm done supporting her. Even from an endorsement perspective, like that doesn't happen. She's in State Farm ads right now. Like State Farm isn't going to say, well, you play for the Fever, so bye. Maybe you can do something for Prudential. That's not how this exists. It doesn't work this way.
Yeah.
So, this idea that she's taking a pay cut, it's a weird kind of dumb take that's perpetuated out because you're right. Like, is there a salary argument to be made here? Well, yeah, WNBA players don't get paid as much as they should or commensurate to their revenue. No, it does not mean that they should get paid what NBA players make. It means that they should make revenue commensurate with what their TV ratings are by their revenue sharing agreement of their CBA. Just looking into the camera so we make that clear before you get in the comments. The thing with Clark is that she's going to get a bag one way or another. And this is a player that, we'll get into it in a bit about legacy. This is one of the most transformational breaking containment of women's basketball into the general sports fandom that we've ever seen in the sport. I can't imagine a situation where the money just simply dries up because she's in the WNBA instead of college basketball. Like at some point, the apparatus of the league has to adjust to its stars. And this is the generation, I would argue, that is starting to do that. And with all that in tow, the money is going to still be there regardless.
Yeah. And that's what's, I think I'm most excited about. I mean, the level that this just took the WNBA season, the excitement level, like obviously, I mean, there's plenty to be excited about already, but now Caitlin Clark's gonna be here. Like the viewership, the eyes, the everything that this is now gonna be bringing. Like, and you don't think that the money is gonna keep coming in?
Right. Remember how they're handling the game last year that drew 10 million eyeballs.
Be for real. Come on now.
And again, the draft stuff already allowing fans into the draft this year is something that they have never done.
Yep.
Like making the draft an event in a way that it hasn't been in past years. Like, the W is not dumb. Kathy Engelbert may be a Deloitte accountant, but she's not stupid. Like, she knows better than anyone, this is your moment. This is your bag as a league. Don't mess it up. And so far, the Indiana Fever, within 30 minutes of this announcement from Caitlin Clark, put out a tweet saying season tickets are on sale.
Oh, yeah, they were ready.
Like
they were ready.
They know nobody is going to mess this up. This is the golden of golden geese. This is, we haven't seen a star enter a league like this with this type of hype and hope surrounding her entrance. I'm having trouble thinking of an equivalency here.
Yeah.
I really don't know if I can find one, because even We didn't know what Jordan was until Jordan came. This, to be honest, I hate bringing the LeBron example in here, but
that's where
the entire league entrusted to him when he left St. Vincent St. Mary's.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever seen another player carry the type of mainstream juice before she enters a league with the idea that you are coming here to be the face, the way Caitlin Clark has.
Yeah. I mean, that's where my mind went to, was LeBron, because and there's something that I've been able to personally experience, since y'all are on the older side, that I've been able to personally experience, that I've been able to see, like, this is different, like on the court and off the court. I haven't seen anything like this, and
I think it's even a little different because she's not coming to the WNBA who has like absolutely no juice, right? The WNBA is also
right.
Simultaneously,
this is a multiplier. This isn't a starter. This is a multiplier.
Exactly.
And that's like what, like, I think people kind of gotten that a little mixed up at times, where it's like, okay, now Caitlin's here. The W's, they're here. They are. No, they're here. They've been here, and like all the numbers have been going up. This is just, man, when you talk about running the score up.
And what people have to understand about the WNBA is from a historical standpoint, typically the things that build leagues from a business perspective are allegiances to teams.
Yeah.
And in this current generation of fans at the moment, and it kind of dovetails with the NBA's current fandom now, people don't gravitate to teams, they gravitate to players.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of that, I do think there is less base fandom city to city within the WNBA currently, because there just hasn't been enough time or brand recognition built up for you to be a fan of the Indiana Fever your entire life. But the current generation of fan and the way that they follow sports is, I follow Caitlin Clark, I follow Aja Wilson, I follow Brianna Stewart or Sabrina Ionescu or Juju Watkins. So as she goes in, those people come with her regardless of where team goes. There's a ceiling to that in terms of fandom, as we've seen in the NBA. But for what the W needs, as you guys have both mentioned, they need force multipliers. And this is like the exponential force multiplier here.
Yeah. Where do you guys kind of feel like when it comes to, obviously she makes this announcement early before senior night and everything, when it comes to the people like Angel Reese, Cameron Brink, those type of players that haven't really officially announced yet, do you feel like this kind of pushes them in any way to potentially announce now rather than after the tournament or anything like that? Or is this just Caitlin kind of being the exception of sorts in a way?
You first, Greer.
Well, I think the other two ladies that you mentioned, I think they're the other two young women that you mentioned, I think they will also be declaring in short order here. And I don't know that Caitlin's announcement necessarily speeds them up per se, but I think it really forces you to like look at the landscape and say, am I ready to take it as seriously as she's going to take it? Right. Like, and I think she needs people like this entire class. Like they need to come in and say, we want spots on these rosters. Right. Yeah. And we're not settling for just being invited to training camp. We are trying to become mainstays on W rosters. And we also have the fan base from colleges to like back us up. Right. So I'm excited for this crop of young talent that's coming into the W this year.
Yeah.
I'm excited if I'm Cameron Brink, because you're a West Coast player. Your base of fandom is on the West Coast. You kind of have, respectfully, like this kind of like pretty model type of NIL endorsement deals and branding around you. You're a California-looking person,
just built for
LA.
It couldn't be better.
And
the Sparks going to be her franchise at that point.
But that's my point. Like picks 2 and 4 for the Sparks, right underneath her. And without Caitlin Clark, and you're Cameron Brink, you might go to Indiana first.
Yeah.
If you are the player that comes out of this, and they try to pair you and Aaliyah Boston together. So if I'm Cameron Brink, this is awesome. This just made my choice for me, because now I get a franchise in Los Angeles to be able to take advantage of the way my branding works and my endorsements work. Because for Caitlin Clark, she's doing this in Iowa City. She doesn't need LA or New York to do this. To be quite honest, I think it's actually a better fit culturally.
Mhm.
The way, it gives like Josh Allen going to Buffalo vibes out of the University of Wyoming. Like that was one of those on paper, oh, he's going to fit the culture and the fan base there. This is the exact same thing where I actually think Caitlin Clark jives better with Indianapolis and the Indiana Fever and the fan base in the heartland and Big Ten country.
Big Ten country
coming out to LA. I think for Cameron Brink, this is great. This just made my choice to do this.
Yeah. I completely agree. We talked a lot about it off the court. Let's dive into some on the court now, because Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston are going to be teammates, y'all. Have fun rest of the WNBA, because these two players have never had players like each other on their teams. Not in this sense. Aaliyah Boston has never had shooting the way that Caitlin is going to bring, playmaking as well. So finally, the heavens have opened up and they have dropped down passes to the paint that are accurate. That is what heaven has dropped down for Aaliyah Boston. And for Caitlin, the dominance of AB, yes, you have Cesano in college, but that ain't Aaliyah Boston, and not in the W.
It's Aaliyah's ability to pass out of doubles, right?
Yes.
It's Aaliyah's ability to see the entire floor from her position on the court. Never mind the other additions that Indiana has made over this offseason, right? It's AB and quite possibly the best shooter ever, maybe like somebody who could trend in that direction.
Absolutely.
And then 2 or 3 other women who are excellent shooters as well. So the spacing that Aaliyah Boston is going to be afforded on this team that Lynn Dunn and company are building, if you are a person who likes to see basketball played at a really, really high level, I think that's what we're going to be seeing a lot with the Indiana Fever this upcoming season.
Yeah, it's giving Joel Embiid, Steph Curry.
Yeah,
like
that's
like it's Shaq and Kobe. I mean, this is what it has the ceiling and the potential to be. I will reference Stan Lee here. Every comic book is somebody's first, right? So if you're unfamiliar with the kind of ecosystem within women's college basketball, Iowa fans and South Carolina fans really don't like each other. There's been a rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston in school about who was the Naismith Player of the Year, the Wooden Award winner, and a lot of enmity between these fan bases. They played in the Final Four last year and Iowa won. So my question to you guys and everybody listening, now that you've got the context, who's Dale and who's Brennan in this Step Brothers scenario? I feel like South Carolina, Indiana Fever fans are looking at Iowa fans like, don't touch my drum set.
At all. Don't touch my drum set. This is AB's team. Don't touch my drum set. No, this is
like AB, CC, whose team is whose.
Yeah.
And eventually you might be doing karate in the garage and watching cops together, but like someone's touching someone's drum set.
Yeah.
This season. And I'm very curious what the discourse is going to look like.
I think it's also interesting that, AB works for the Big Ten Network this season. So we've already kind of had the foreshadowing that like this is a partnership in the works, right? She's called a host of Iowa games, been on
a sit down interview with Caitlin.
Exactly. So
this has been the worst kept secret possible.
All the also like they played on Team USA together before. These are when you get to be at this level in women's basketball, you've known these girls and young women since you guys were 13, 14, 12 years old, right? Like these are long-standing relationships, and now they're going to be able to play together as professionals. So I'm sure Aaliyah, actually, I know for a fact, I saw her tweet too, right? That she was getting her hair braided or something, and her phone just started blowing up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know what happened, and that's Caitlin declaring. So, she's coming off being an all-star in her very first season in the W. I think very well. I don't recall if she was, but very well could have been a part of any MVP discussion that we were having last year in the W as well. So to come and just immediately get a bump, and the bump is Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, the bump won't get much bumpier. Like that is it's ridiculous. Like it's literally across the board. If you are Caitlin Clark on the court, off the court, I don't know if there could be a better fit and a better timing of entering the draft than right now. Like across all the NIL discourse of her staying and everything, it just makes sense. Across, like there's no hiccup in Caitlin Clark joining the Indiana Fever. There's absolutely no problem.
And I love, back to the timing, I love that she gave even her teammates like time to say, like, for the next 4 weeks, it's not about me. I know where I'm going.
Yeah. Before summer night, before the Big Ten tournament.
What can we do with the time that I have here left, right? Like, I know that she's in pursuit of trying to make it back to a Final Four, which is being held in Cleveland this year, and not just making it back to the Final Four, but winning the entire thing.
Yeah.
And I think having this level of clarity going in
can only be beneficial.
A whole lot.
Yeah, I completely agree. And now it's time to go stamp a legacy as a college player. I mean, obviously, sure, her legacy's set in the sense of being a great. But when you talk about
one leading scorer of all time,
like obviously set in stone, like she's in the history books forever. But when you talk about that next level, being a champion, leading a championship team, she has a chance to go do that now, and then go and be part of potentially one of I don't even hesitate saying this, one of the best duos the W has potentially ever seen. Like there's that level of potential for it. Like that is
one of the most hyped, at least.
The Ricky Davis to the LeBron James. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
who Ricky Davis is in that analogy, don't
Wheeler.
Was that
Erica Wheeler?
I was gonna.
She said that she her words out of her own fingers is that she will be on the Indiana Fever roster this year. So
she said, "I'm gonna get mine. I'm gonna get my max money, and I'm gonna get my shot." Oh, I love it. Well, listen, I'm excited for the rest of this college season. Obviously, we still got time left with Caitlin in Iowa, but man, this summer,
one big domino has fallen.
Yes,
one big domino,
the biggest of the dominoes has fallen in the college game, and man, this summer the our W coverage is going to be locked in across the board, all the teams, boots on the ground, always as much as we possibly can. We'll have the Substack going, the YouTube going, the playback going, watching games live. You can find all of that down below in the subscription, and make sure you stay tapped in with everything No Cap Space.